Inflation is popping up all over the place. I'm going to give you some examples of that and tell you just some updates. And you could look at what had happened from essentially March 2020 up until the present, especially the most recent numbers. This is the US ISM non-manufacturing prices, okay? Also known as the ISM services PMI. And that's been increasing dramatically, and that puts additional pressure ultimately on the consumer. This is giving you like the raw data, but you can look at, simple things. That's why I give you on this channel, if you notice, if you've been here a while, I give you every different layer of economic statistic. I've never seen any other sources out there that go through them all. For example, you look at the cost of a Big Mac. Okay. And you could see that price. What was it 5 years ago? What was it 10 years ago? What was it 20 years ago? What about the Café con Leche index? That's something that you can do on your own. What was a cup of coffee at your local place? What was it last year? What was it 5 years ago? What was it 10 years ago? Look at that price. That has nothing to do with, what's happening, in certain conditions. Okay, it's a financial, okay, there's a shortage, no, because you see it over a long period of time and you're measuring it, you as a person. You're not seeing, well, the stock index, the QE, quantitative easing, the stimulus package. No. We could see that having an effect on certain things. But when you measure a particular commodity or a particular item that you've been buying for a long period of time, that's real measurement, okay? And generally you wouldn't take just one thing, but that's a good way to do it in some cases. You could see that with different things in your life. That's a real measure of inflation. But I also give you the government statistics. I also give you sort of the second and third tier type of indicators, because that's how we get the full picture of what's actually happening. But people who simply don't want to believe what's actually going on, they take the information that they cherry pick one little thing that I said, and no, that's not because of this and that, but they don't understand the big picture. They don't realize, because they got their head so their head is basically, they're looking at the ground, they're not seeing around them. And that's truly unfortunate, because this will come faster than what they are expecting. The economy, that is, the actual drawdown in the economy, we've seen nothing yet. We've seen absolutely nothing yet. And remember, I say economy, not the stock market. Two very different things. Hot sea cargo market quadruples prices for used container ships. Unbelievable to see what's happening, not just with ocean freight, but air and so on, all over the place. You're still experiencing, somewhat of a delay. There's issues going on all over the place with this specifically, but I find it to be interesting as we move through. We're in 2021, and this is not letting up at all. U.S. coffee roasters weigh price increases, cite shipping inflation. Coffee processors, in the United States, the world's largest consumer of the beverage, are reporting significant cost increases in their operations, mostly related to transportation, and expect to raise retail prices soon. Get ready for it. It's coming. Greenwich Homebuying contracts soar with New York City exodus. I just point this out specifically because you could see the groups, the haves and the have-nots, and this gives us a real specific indicator. As we can see, people that have the money, they not necessarily, as they point out here, not necessarily selling their place in Manhattan, but now they're buying an additional place in something like Greenwich. They've got the extra cash, why not? And then if everything returns to normal, they've got both places, so they can use it like that. That's what some people are doing. Others, however, are just selling, they're moving out. The inventory had climbed. I don't have more recent numbers on that, but certainly that's what's going on. New York City is one that is clearly facing a big crisis long term. The price of lumber is up about 180% since April, an increase that works out to about $24,000 being added to the price of the average home. Unbelievable to see what's been going on here. Lumber is definitely one. I told you months and months ago that the key to success was to buy 7 2x4s. All right, you got to buy 7 2x4s, and that was the key to success. And guess what? We watched it growing up and up and up and up. And of course, you would have been a billionaire by now. But of course, nobody wants to listen to that information, right? Where's the fun in that? Well, obviously, I'm kidding around, but I was really saying that you could see the inflation in lumber and wood increase, and here we are today. South Florida's real estate market red hot right now. I have noticed this not just on the commercial side and the residential side, all over the place. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, and certainly it's not without its problems, but South Florida has been outperforming, I should say, the major areas around the United States. It is very clear. So if you're in this area, you're probably not seeing a lot of the catastrophe that a place like New York or California had been dealing with, but still dealing with in many cases. A lot of the employment problems are not quite as bad in this area. But again, it depends on where you're looking specifically, but I'm just noting the trend. Average LA County gas price rises for the 47th time in 48 days. I thought it was interesting. I know a lot of people, whenever I poll the audience for gas prices, no matter where you live, there's a huge divergence. There's no doubt about it, but LA is one place that's getting hammered hard right now. If you're there, let me know what you see around. I'm sure that it's going to correspond to what we are noting here. It is unbelievable to see what people are paying. For a lot of people, maybe they're working from home, so it's not hitting as hard, and that certainly is a factor. But it was interesting to see that during the crisis, they said, when the oil prices were down so far, it was, hey, you're going to save money on your gasoline, but everyone was stuck at home, so they need to use the gasoline. So that was really nonsense to use that as a bonus or whatever you want to call it. Chinese battery grade lithium carbonate prices surged 68% in the first 2 months of 2021. This is unbelievable because, of course, what else gonna pass the price increases down to the customer? But don't worry, the robots are coming to help us out. Kroger opens the first $55 million automated warehouse in Butler County. Okay? I mentioned this specifically because take a look at this. The $55 million, 335,000 square foot customer fulfillment center features digital and robotic capabilities that allow Kroger to assemble an order of approximately 50 items in 6 minutes with robotics instead of approximately 30 to 45 minutes for a Kroger employee picking them up from various areas of the store. As far as I'm concerned, they're going this route. Those jobs are finished. Robot waiter minimizes human contact at Portland area bistro, not just in Portland, but they are all going in this direction. The burger flippers, those jobs are gone. There's Flippy, the machine that will do that. I showed you that on the channel before. There are all types of things because people might be worried about the human contact. They don't want to see other human beings, I guess. So this right here is just something that they're going to be using. It's going to be very, very common. So we are going to see this, I would say, in the next few years. It's going to be everywhere. This right here, before I finish off the video, I was talking about green sill in the previous video that I did, or the previous 2 videos ago. And I just found this article here. I wanted to bring it to you. I don't have time to get into all the issue that's related to it, but they're suggesting that this could start to unravel a bit. I don't think it's necessarily, a Lehman moment, but it is definitely something that we should be paying attention to, titled "The Best Way to Rob a Bank." And then in the subtitle there, "The Best Way to Rob a Bank is to own a bank." And right at the bottom, you see Mr. Prince Charles with Greensill himself getting a nice fancy award. So I think there's a lot that's going on right now, and we'll see how it all works out. I think the financial industry in general is rotten to the core, and we only find out after it's too late. That's all for this video. If you found it informative, hit that thumbs up button. If you hate me, if you hate my face, and you made it this far into the video, I want to congratulate you, and I want you to support me as well by giving me a thumbs down. If you want to learn about e-commerce, you can do so at any of the courses out there. They're $1,000, $2,000 available to anybody to check out, or you can find mine. It's available for free at the AmazonGPS.com. If you want to learn about the financial system, you could do so at the link in the description, bring you over to the 2 books that I've got, that I wrote, that break down everything so simply and easily. Anybody can understand it, but there's so much detail at the same time. So check them out at the link if you're interested. Have you seen this video? This is about Michael Burry and what he had to say. And I think it's important just to see that final warning message that he gave out. And we'll see how it all plays out.